Auto theft investigation leads to 59 suspects being arrested and more than 300 stolen vehicles recovered. We'll have more on Project Thoroughbred coming up in moments.
Right in our own backyard, a pickup truck has smashed into a storefront on Queen Street. 2 people under arrest. We're live at the scene with more.
And once again, country has come to the city. We will take you to the Royal Winter Fair coming up.
This is Live at 5.
Hello, I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And I'm Andrew Brennan. Welcome to Live at 5. We'll get to our top story now. Toronto police announcing the results of an investigation into auto thefts and re-vinning. This project dubbed Project Thoroughbred.
For the details now, we're going to go live to CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan, who is standing by with everything we need to know. Steve.
Yeah, Lindsay, we heard today from Toronto Police that this project started in July. It's an ongoing project that right now has saw the recovery of 360 vehicles, 302 criminal charges laid, and 59 people arrested. This project had 3 components. You had the disrupting and dismantling of cars being sold offshore, rather. You had chop shops that were located, identified, and those vehicle parts have been recovered. And very concerning was the identification of employees at Service Ontario who police allege were participating in fraud. They were creating false VIN numbers on vehicles that were stolen and sold locally. We are told that arrests are imminent when it comes to employees from the Service Ontario who allegedly participated in this criminality, and the Ministry of Transportation is also investigating. Now, earlier on at a press conference today, we heard from Chief Demkew and we heard from Councillor Josh Matlow. Matlow is a big supporter and advocate of the police efforts to combat auto thefts and carjackings here in the City of Toronto. Here's more from both of them. Let's have a listen.
While auto thefts in Toronto have declined by 21% compared to this time in 2023, the problem persists, particularly as it relates to carjackings. This is why we are committed to continuing our partnership with government and law enforcement agencies to enhance our enforcement efforts and protect our residents.
I hear from residents in the area that I represent, but also throughout our city all the time, who are worried about what they're going to find when they wake up in the morning, whether their car is still going to be in front of their home, and God forbid, if their home might be invaded by criminals who are looking for a way to steal their car.
Superintendent Ron Taverner, who is the officer in charge of 23 Division, he was in attendance today. His officers were responsible for this project's success. He was asked today what his advice would be to somebody who may be looking for a used car. And he said, buyer beware, caveat emptor. If a vehicle seems to be cheaper than you expect, most likely it's not good news and that you should be aware. And if you do buy a vehicle that's had been re-VINed and that vehicle gets seized by the police, you'll be out that money and you're going to have to civilly go after the criminals who sold you that car. And when it comes to those Service Ontario employees, the axe or the hammer is about to fall on them. Arrests are imminent when it comes to those employees, and police say that is a huge breach of trust. I'll send it back to you guys.
CP24 crime analyst Steve Ryan, we appreciate you as always, Steve. Thank you. We're going to turn now to the province in a related story, actually, set to introduce new legislation to help crack down on auto theft in our province.
So if passed, the new legislation would create a new provincial offense under the Highway Traffic Act for knowingly providing a false vehicle identification number when applying for a vehicle permit. Penalties will be up to $100,000 for convictions, with the possibility of up to 6 months in jail and up to 1 year driver's license or vehicle permit suspension.
These cases often involve a person stealing the VIN from a legitimate vehicle and passing it off on a stolen vehicle. It's these types of activities that, despite seeming like almost victimless crimes, are driving carjackings, late-night robberies, and chaos in communities throughout the province. Not to mention law-abiding citizens whose VIN numbers are being compromised.
Now, the legislation will also include more oversight over the trucking industry and updated laws for traffic violations in parking lots. The idea there is to make it easier for police to bust unsanctioned car rallies and street racing.
We're going to turn now to an incident on the road down the street from our studios. A truck crashing into a store on Queen Street West near Peter Street.
This is a live look at the scene this afternoon. The driver appears to have taken off from police following the collision. You can still see, obviously, the truck here in the building. Police say they were called to the scene to investigate a stolen truck when the vehicle rammed a police car, injuring an officer. A police horse was also injured when it was struck by the vehicle. Now, the extent of both injuries here remains unknown. 2 people are in custody, but their identities are not yet known.
Turning now to Scarborough, a man is in hospital with life-threatening injuries following a car, in this case also crashing into a building, this one a home. We have security video showing a dramatic moment here. Car slamming into another car and the carport of the home on Portico Drive near Ellesmere and Scarborough Golf Club Road. This was just before 5 this morning. A man in his 20s was rushed to hospital.
I woke up around about 4 o'clock and I just wanted to have a coffee. So I was making a coffee and all of a sudden I heard bang! And then it's calm and I opened the door and I didn't see my car. So I went inside, I woke up my wife, I said, I think somebody stole my car. And then she said, what? And then all of a sudden I came out and all the glasses pieces everywhere in my stairway. And then I looked at it, I said, I went down and I looked at it, there's a car halfway. And then I went close, I said, this is not my car. It's something, it's some model. And then I went backyard, checked it, my car is way back there.
I was sleeping and I got up to use the washroom and then I heard a whoosh kind of sound and then the car horn. And then when I ran up, it looked like the car was just gone, my dad's car. And then when we went around the corner, there's all this debris and then the back of a car we don't know is smashed into the side.
Police are still investigating and there's no word yet on what led to the collision.
Turning now to Brampton, a man and woman injured seriously in what's currently believed to be a random double stabbing in the city last night. Officers called to the area of Sandalwood Parkway and Brisdale Drive around 10 p.m. Reports there at that time of a suspect chasing people on the street. The suspect, police say, then entered a home. An altercation occurred and ensued. A 34-year-old Mississauga man, we are told, has been charged with aggravated assault, break and enter, assault with a weapon, and choking.
And police have released the identity of human remains found nearly 45 years ago. York Regional Police have identified the human remains found in July of 1980 as then 26-year-old Toronto resident William Joseph Pennell. He was an inmate who had escaped prison just a month before his body was found. Police say the investigation into Pennell's death is ongoing, and they are looking to speak with additional friends and associates of the 26-year-old.
While we're talking bike lanes again today, Ontario's transportation minister is defending the move by the province that would see, if this bill is passed, bike lanes removed on 3 major roads in our city.
Gridlock is an all-time high. We know that Toronto is one of the most congested cities, not only in the world, it ranks 3 in the TomTom study, but in all of North America. We need to move quick. We know that these bike lanes, where only 1.2% of people use to commute to get to work, are taking away almost 50% of the infrastructure on those streets from vehicles. 70% of the population travels to work by car. Many others take public transit. And so we need to make sure that people can get to and from work in an efficient manner.
Meanwhile, Mayor Olivia Chow is urging the province not to hastily remove the bike lanes.
Well, ripping up our roads are going to be costly, make congestion worse, and make it less safe for cyclists and drivers. The province plan is arbitrary and not based on any evidence. It's not a good use of taxpayers' dollar. The city's preference is always to work collaboratively and based on data and evidence. We'll see what the city can do.
The Ford government is proposing a new rule that would allow it to get rid of sections of bike lanes on Bloor, Yonge and University. They would be restored as lanes of vehicle, car traffic. Now, the province is also taking another step if this bill does get passed that would force municipalities to ask permission to install bike lanes that were removed or that would remove a lane of vehicle traffic. Now, the Association of Municipalities for Ontario says this legislation is a, quote, significant overreach of power.
The City of Toronto has announced the name of the new island that's being created in the Portlands, along with a new park.
It is called Okwemin Minising, meaning place of the black cherry trees. It's been chosen as the island's new name. This was decided after a year-long process that saw the City of Toronto actually turn over naming powers to Indigenous communities as part of its commitment to truth and reconciliation.
Right here in the heart of the Portlands, there's construction everywhere. And imagine a community, a new community with thousands of families, places for employment, parks, public spaces, and homes. Affordable homes, and the new path of the Don River sneaking through these new neighborhood. How beautiful and exciting is that? By connecting the Don River to Lake Ontario and creating a revitalized, renaturalized river mouth.
Now, the new island was created as part of an extensive Portlands flood protection project, which renaturalized the mouth of the Don River over 6 years of construction.
Well, speaking of construction, there's another shutdown of a part of Line 2 to deal with this weekend. Scarborough residents were talking about you. No service once again Saturday and Sunday between Victoria Park and Kennedy stations. Shuttle buses are running from Victoria Park to Warden, then on to Kennedy. The closures have been in effect almost every other weekend due to ongoing track work.
Time now is 5:12, sitting at 9 degrees outside. This is Live at 5.
Coming up, we're going to the fair. The Royal... I know you love dogs. So
I love the Royal.
I know, and I'm just going to keep talking for as long as possible so we can look at this dog. When we come back, we're going to go and look at more dogs. We are going to go to the fair now, the world's largest indoor agricultural and equestrian showcase and fair, kicking off in Toronto today.
And for more on the return of the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair, we're going to go live to CP24's Melissa Duggan, who is at Exhibition Place today. Hey, Melissa.
Hey there, Lindsay. So we're having a blast here at Super Dogs. The show is happening right behind me right now. Some dogs that have some very great tricks going on. And I'm joined by Alessia. What do you think about the show so far? What's been your favorite part?
Well, I think all of them are really amazing. I feel like they're all really trying with their effort of their heart.
Yeah.
And they're really like trying hard, and their owners are really like happy to be with them. And it's a relationship between the dog and the owner, having a lot of fun. So it's not really a competition, it's just having fun.
It is, and it's lots of fun. Now, I understand you have a dog. What's your dog's name, and could your dog do these tricks?
No, he can't do these tricks, but his name is Charlie.
Okay, and you love him all the same?
Yeah.
Okay, I love that breakdown of Holly Wolf from Alessia there. And, you know, we've been taking in the show all day. From the cows we've been looking at, we've been seeing horses. They've been putting on some great shows as well. There were some rabbits we got to pet a little bit earlier. Oh, and also, who is here? The Prime Minister, part of the opening ceremony, the ribbon cutting ceremony, officially kicking off the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair 2024. Here's a little bit of what the Prime Minister had to say.
Canada is a leader in agriculture, not just because of the extraordinary land we share, because of the bounty of water and weather that we get to keep growing. Canada is a leader in agriculture for the same reason Canada is a leader in so many things, because of Canadians, because of the work people do day in, day out, that goes beyond a job, that goes to building a life, building a future, feeding your fellow Canadians and people around the world. Farmers wake up every day and remind us that they are the fabric and pride of this country, and long-standing traditions like the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair are a great celebration of precisely that.
Well, the Super Dogs are absolutely nailing this
So such a variety of things you could see at the fair, by the way. It's happening at Exhibition Place all the way through to November 10th. If you want to see one of these super dog shows, by the way, there are 4 of them a day. Just Google Royal Agricultural Winter Fair and you'll be able to see the full schedule there of events. So plenty to check out here through to November 10th. I'm going to throw things back to you. What do we say now, Alessia?
Back to studio.
Okay, shout out to Alexia for being probably our next reporter. I sincerely hope so. I love how they're playing the song, I Like to Move It, Move It.
Of course.
As these good boys are moving very quickly. Look at them.
It's so amazing to watch. Okay, thanks, Melissa. Meanwhile, turning to, this seems, I'm not one to, wait on a holiday. This seems a little early, but the Distillery Historic District is wasting no time getting ready for the holiday season.
Yeah, and they're doing it in style, at least a very large style. As is tradition, a 55-foot silver for Christmas tree is now in place in the distillery. It's not lit up yet. It's going to take 2 weeks for the decorations to happen. November 13th is the official lighting ceremony, and then we get the opening of the Distillery Winter Village.
We are excited to get started. As soon as they finish clamping the tree in here today, we're going to start on decorating right away. It'll take us about that 2-week time period to decorate the tree. It's 70,000 lights, thousands of ornaments, a beautiful sort of base sculpture that will be revealed November the 13th here at 6 p.m. for our tree lighting ceremony. You know, the light will be turned on by Santa himself, so you got to come down and check it out.
They can get an array of pretzels and sausages, poutines, mulled wine, which is one of my favorites, hot chocolate. You got Japanese pancakes, you got Japanese tacos. There's so much.
The distillery is expecting about 1 million visitors over the holiday season. The Winter Village is open every day except Christmas Day until January 5th.
Right now it's 5:18, 9 degrees outside. This is Live at 5.
And we're live in Brampton, where a Diwali celebration event is taking place all evening. We'll take you there when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. A free Diwali celebration is underway in Brampton.
And for more on the festivities, I was just too excited. We got to get there. CP24's Sija Lu is standing by. Hi, Sija.
30 seconds. We'll wait for a question. Okay. Hey there, I'm here at the Diwali Mela Festival here in Brampton, and it's all about celebrating diversity, and joining me is the Minister of Diversity and Inclusion. We'll ask her a quick question because Justin Trudeau just arrived. She'll have to go say hi to him quickly. What does this festival mean in terms of diversity for the city of Brampton?
Well, I think in Brampton, diversity, I always say, is our biggest strength in our community, and nowhere do we get to see that more than right here in our community of Brampton. So just want to wish everyone a very, very happy Diwali, and to the people that are coming out, please come out to Brampton at this beautiful park. We're going to be big celebrations and lots of fireworks, and of course, I think the Prime Minister just walked in.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for your time. We'll show you what it looks like right now. So this is over at Sesquicentennial Park, the second annual Diwali Mela. We do have a star-studded lineup tonight with DJs, performances, but the climax today will be at 7:30. That is the huge fireworks show. It is going to be 15 minutes long, the longest fireworks show in the city of Brampton, and that is because a few years ago the city of Brampton banned fireworks, so they want this to be an opportunity for everyone to come together and enjoy this Diwali celebration. And like the minister just mentioned, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just arrived. We also will have Premier Doug Ford making an appearance. But tonight is all about celebrating Diwali, triumphing light over darkness. Lots of fun still underway with that big fireworks show starting at 7:30. Back to you.
Okay, CP24's Sija Lu reporting live for us from Brampton. Thanks, Sija. Time now is 5:22, 9 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Well, when he was a basketball player in our fair city, he was known as Air Canada Carter. Look at this. We'll tell you the story when we come back.
Welcome back. The Raptors will try to put the brakes on their losing skid tonight when they host the Lakers.
Toronto coming off a 138-133 loss to Charlotte on Wednesday. Now, the Raptors have dropped 3 straight games. They're still trying to get just their second win of this season. The team still without all-star forward Scotty Barnes. He's going to miss at least 3 more weeks with a broken orbital bone. Tonight's contest against King James and LA gets underway at 7:30.
And tomorrow night, Hall of Famer Vince Carter will have his number 15 jersey retired by the Raptors. This is the first jersey Toronto will have retired. Carter was originally drafted 5th overall by Golden State, but immediately traded to the Raptors. His popularity skyrocketed after his performance in the dunk contest in the year 2000, and later that year, he led Toronto to their first ever playoff appearance. He officially retired from the NBA in 2020 at age 43. A real fan sitting beside me here.
A real fan. Grew up watching this man. He was half man, half amazing. Vinsanity for all of Canada and Air Canada Carter. That was his name. Chuck Swirsky said it on the radio and on TV all the time. Now, Air Canada Carter has a new name. The airline is honoring him. Carter honored with this big plane livery, I guess is the way to call it. Now, you can see it not only has him on it, but it has him doing his trademark dunk from that 2000 dunk contest, by the way. His signature, he signed it on the bottom, and his iconic number 15. The undercarriage of the aircraft is also going to bear Carter's name, number, and his signature. Carter earned that nickname over 7 seasons with Toronto, by the way.
When you joined the Raptors in '98, Toronto wasn't exactly known as a basketball city. And Canada certainly wasn't known as a basketball nation. But you changed all of that. You sparked a whole movement. And for those of you who watched your incredible performance at the 2000 All-Star Weekend, it was transcendent. It felt like you put Toronto and the nation on the map. You showed the world that our city, our country, could soar just as high as your incredible dunks.
I just want to live in the moment. Like, this is the first time, and you've seen numerous jersey retirements. I've never been to one live. I've seen banners go up that I wasn't a part of. I got to teams afterwards, but I've never gotten the opportunity and to be the first. It's always, just like anything in life, you remember your first.
So Vince Carter was known as a high flyer. His vertical leap when he was playing was 43 inches. That's that's huge. That's almost 4 feet. But this livery is going to be flying high, much higher than that, until April 2025.
Okay, time now is 5:28, 9 degrees. This is Live at 5. Coming up, 2 people have been arrested after a truck crashed into a store near Queen and Peter. We are live at the scene. Here's a look. We'll have those details next.
A pickup truck smashing into a storefront on Queen Street, just down the street from us. 2 people are under arrest. We are live at the scene with more.
Plus, an auto theft investigation leads to 59 suspects being arrested and more than 300 stolen vehicles recovered. We'll have more on Project Thoroughbred coming up in moments.
And once again, country has come to the city. We're going to take you to the Royal Winter Fair in moments.
This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And I'm Andrew Brennan. Welcome to Live at 5. We're going to turn now just down the street from us. A car has crashed into a storefront on Queen Street near Peter.
Yeah, this is a live look at the scene this evening. Police say they were called to the scene to investigate a stolen truck when the vehicle rammed into a police car, injuring an officer, and a police horse was also injured when it was struck by the vehicle. Now, the extent of both injuries remain unknown. We do know 2 people are in custody. Their identities not yet known, obviously. This is still a very active scene tonight.
And we just are learning now. Police are going to give an update at 6 o'clock tonight. We'll have details for you here on CP24 and on CTV News at 6.
Meanwhile, Toronto police have announced the results of an investigation into auto thefts and revinning, dubbed Project Thoroughbred.
And we're going to bring in our crime analyst, Steve Ryan, now to get more details here. So, Steve, we've heard not only from the chief of police, not only from counselors like Josh Matlow, but you were saying before, just in terms of the lack of trust and the loss of trust that can come here, considering the implications for Service Ontario.
Yeah, that's right. If, in fact, the police are accurate in their assessment, it's a huge breach of trust, that's for sure. And we're talking about the employees at Service Ontario who police allege were part of this criminality. They were the ones police allege were responsible for providing false documentation when it came to stolen vehicles being revinned. And then those vehicles were sold locally and duping customers into thinking that they were buying a legitimate vehicle, when in fact it was a stolen vehicle that they were purchasing. So the police have said that we can expect arrests in the near future when it comes to employees from Service Ontario, and the Ministry of Transportation is also conducting their own independent investigation. So this project that started in July saw 360 vehicles to date be recovered, over 300 criminal charges laid, and 59 people arrested. It had three components to it, Andrew. One was the revinning of vehicles. That's been identified as a problem. Chop shops, another component to this investigation, that's been identified, and the disrupting and dismantling of vehicles being sold offshore as well. So it was a very successful project that is still ongoing as police continue their efforts to try to combat auto thefts and carjackings. Now, we heard today from Chief Demkew at a press conference out here in Scarborough, and we heard from Josh Matlow as well, city councillor who's been a big supporter and advocate of the police when it comes to their efforts in combating auto thefts and carjackings. Here's more from both of them. Let's have a listen.
Since July 2024, Project Thoroughbred has led to 59 arrests and over 300 charges, including many counts of forgery and possession of stolen property. Warrants have also been issued for the arrest of more than a dozen people.
Ultimately, there are too many people in our city who are asking, what can our local governments and our local police do? We can do a lot of work together, but we can't do it alone. And that's why working together with the provincial government and the federal government, while yes, criminals need to be arrested, the more that we make it difficult, if not impossible, for cars to be stolen in the first place, the more that we're protecting our residents.
We also heard from Superintendent Taverner. He's the officer in charge of 23 Division. His officers were an integral part of this successful investigation. He had some advice for those who were purchasing secondhand vehicles at a very cheap price. He said, caveat emptor, buyer beware. He said if a vehicle seems to be too cheap to be purchased, it typically may be a stolen vehicle, and you should be careful, because if in fact you purchase a vehicle that's been revinned at a cheap price and that vehicle is seized by the police, you're going to be out that money and you have to pursue the criminals civilly to get your money back. So just be cautious of that. We'll send it back to you guys.
Okay, CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan reporting live for us. Thanks for that, Steve.
Turning now to York Regional Police, releasing the identity of remains that were found 45 years ago.
Yeah, for more on this, we're joined now by Detective Jonathan Nomin of the Cold Case Unit. Detective, good to have you today. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
So I guess, first of all, I mean, how did this really happen 45 years later?
Well, thanks to the use of investigative genetic genealogy, we were lucky enough to be able to develop a DNA profile from the remains we found back in 1980. And using that DNA, we were able to identify the remains of those of William Pennell.
Now, Detective, just in terms of the length of time that this took, well, the Human Genome Project mapped out our DNA in 1999. And that profile, how long does it take to be able to create one? I just want to sort of understand how it took 40 plus years and how that process came about.
So in 2007, we exhumed the remains and were able to develop a DNA profile. The use of investigative genetic genealogy for us at York Regional Police started around 2018, a little earlier from other services. We used it in 2021 to begin the process with this case, ultimately determining who it was in 2023.
Speaking of who it was, can you tell us a little bit more about Pennell himself, the man whose remains you found, and the situation that happened?
Yes, what we've been able to figure out is Mr. Pennell at a pretty early age got involved in drugs. That led him to be incarcerated through a majority of his life. In 1979, he had been incarcerated and was paroled. While he was on parole, he was involved in an armed robbery and sent back to jail. And that led to us figuring out that in June of 1980, just a month before we found his remains, he actually escaped from the Collins Bay institution.
Detective, what do you think, now that we're 45 years almost removed from his death, the discovery of his remains, there's a lot of other cold cases out there, and there's a lot of people that are potentially looking for justice for their loved ones. Do you think that cases like this can give people hope in that respect, that even if decades pass, that there can be some resolution to something that transpired years and years ago?
I do. The use of DNA and what we and other police services are now able to do has definitely brought about a new chance to solve some cases that we previously thought could not be solved, and hopefully bring some closure to the victims and their families.
Okay, Detective Jonathan Noman with York Regional Police, really appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, we're really going to switch gears here now and go to the world's largest indoor agricultural and equestrian showcase, which is kicking off in Toronto today.
And for more on the return of the Winter Fair, the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair, we're going to bring in our own Melissa Duggan, who's at Exhibition Place having all the fun.
Hey, Andrew and Lindsay. So the last time I was talking to you, we had the show going on behind us, the Super Dog Show. It is now wrapped up. We have one of the cutest stars of the show with us, Amy and Smudge. What a sweetheart. Smudge is only 8 weeks old?
He's an 8-week-old Papillon, making his debut with us here at the Royal Winter Fair.
What a star. Listen, if someone hasn't seen this show before, how would you describe it?
So the Super Dogs is really family-friendly pet entertainment. All of the dogs that perform in the show are their own personal pets. So when you come to see the show, the person that they're playing with, that's their personal pet. They've auditioned to be in the show. We travel all across North America performing, and we really just want people to know that we love playing with our pets. And if you play with your pet at home, you might find out that you have a super dog too.
Oh, what kind of training is involved?
Every dog's a little bit different. Our show consists of a lot of agility skills. There's a lot of frisbee, but really it's this for the dogs is their playground. This is their favorite place to be, and you see that when the dogs are on stage. They're joyous. They're having the time of their life playing.
I couldn't keep track of how many dogs were in the show. There seem to be so many.
Yeah, there's probably about 30 dogs here performing with us, and we have all breeds of dogs. So we have dogs that we get as puppies, but also lots of rescues as well that are in our show. And we have mixed breeds and purebreds, and we really, that's something that's important to us, is to really showcase that all dogs are super in their own way, regardless of the breed.
You know, I saw a St. Bernard, Beethoven taking part in this, and I think Smudge has got to be the littlest. So what kind of tricks do you think that Smudge will be bringing to the show?
Well, the breed of Papillon is very lively, very active. He'll probably be a great jumper and a great runner as well. Yeah.
Oh, he likes listening to you too. So we've been taking in all sorts of things here at the Royal Agricultural Fair. Of course, we've been looking at horses, we've been seeing cows, rabbits, we've been petting all sorts of animals here today, and definitely something you could take part in too. You could come check out the show. You have about 4 running a day?
We have 4 shows a day, and on next Saturday we also do something called the Canine Equine Challenge, which people can buy tickets for, and that's where the Super Dogs team up with the horses at the Royal and compete together.
Oh, wow. How do the dogs get along with the horses?
Well, we're careful in who we select, but if this is normal for the dogs, so people at home might think my dog would never do that, but this is what our dogs are trained to do. It's what they love to do, and so we're very careful about, obviously, the dogs that we select, but this is their playground.
They're professionals.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Don't try this at home.
The horses and the dogs are both professionals.
And how many dogs do you have personally, by the way?
I own 6. I have 6 dogs. I've been performing with Super Dogs for over 20 years, and at the time I was working at the Toronto Humane Society, and I had adopted a dog that needed an outlet. He was too busy for me at home, and I was thinking, what can I do with him? And Super Dogs was the right place for us to land.
Excellent. Okay, so 4 shows a day for Super Dogs, but obviously lots to take advantage of here at the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair, the 102nd, by the way. Back to you guys.
CP24's Melissa Duggan reporting live for us. Thanks, Melissa.
I'm sure you were really looking forward to seeing more dogs.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Oh, Smudge was so cute. Time now is 5:41, 9 degrees. This is Live at 5.
The battle over bike lanes continuing. The province and our city on opposite sides. We'll hear from both next.
Ontario's transportation minister is defending a move by the province that would see bike lanes removed on 3 major roads in Toronto.
Gridlock is an all-time high. We know that Toronto is one of the most congested cities, not only in the world, it ranks 3 in the TomTom study, but in all of North America. We need to move quick. We know that these bike lanes, where only 1.2% of people use to commute to get to work, are taking away almost 50% of the infrastructure on those streets from vehicles. 70% of the population travels to work by car. Many others take public transit. And so we need to make sure that people can get to and from work in an efficient manner.
Now, the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow, is urging the province, as she put it, to not make hastily done decisions like removing these bike lanes.
Well, ripping up our roads are going to be costly, make congestion worse, and make it less safe for cyclists and drivers. The province plan is arbitrary and not based on any evidence. It's not a good use of taxpayers' dollar. The city's preference is always to work collaboratively and based on data and evidence. We'll see what the city can do.
The Ford government is proposing a new rule that would allow it to get rid of sections of the bike lanes on Bloor, Yonge and University. They would be restored as lanes for vehicle traffic instead. Now, the province is taking the step after it tabled a bill last week that would force municipalities to ask it for permission to install bike lanes that would remove a lane of vehicle traffic. And the Association of Municipalities of Ontario says the legislation is a significant overreach of power.
COVID-19 appears to be on the rise. According to new data we're getting from the province, newly released figures from Public Health Ontario is showing an almost 16% positivity rate for lab tests for the virus. Now, it should be said that these are people that are sick in hospital getting tests, so this would not be representative of the general population. Now, the data from October 20th to the 26th is an increase from the week before, week over week. It's still considered to be a moderate level. 862 hospital beds were occupied by COVID patients during that 6-day span, and 14 deaths have been linked to the virus in that time frame.
And Premier Doug Ford was in Cambridge today to mark the opening of a production line at Novacol Pharma that will package Moderna vaccines.
It's going to be a high-speed production line. I think you were mentioning out there, one's about 350 vials a minute, another one's 600 or 700. That's high speed. And this new line, which our government was pleased to support with a $4 million investment, is going to ensure that mRNA vaccines manufactured by Moderna will be prepared and packaged right here in Cambridge.
So the vaccines are made in Laval, Quebec at the facility Moderna owns there. They're then sent, or will be sent, to Novacol's Cambridge plant, put in vials, packaged, and sent out from there.
Time now is 5:47. Feels just like 4 degrees downtown. This is Live at 5.
We are live in Brampton, a free Diwali celebration taking place tonight. We will bring you there when we return.
A free Diwali celebration is currently underway in Brampton.
So let's go live now to see the festivities with our own Sija Liu. Hi, Sija.
Hi there. Everyone wants to be in Brampton tonight, including the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. You can see folks here wanting to take a photo with him. This is all for the 2nd annual City of Brampton's Diwali Mela celebration. 20,000 people attended this event last year. They're expecting that amount today. Lots of politicians have been on hand, including here Justin Trudeau. Premier Doug Ford will be here later as well. And this is all to celebrate diversity, Diwali, the festival of triumph, of light over darkness. Now, earlier today, we spoke with Mayor Patrick Brown about the fireworks display that will be taking place today at 7:30 p.m. It will be a 15-minute long show, the longest fireworks show in Brampton, and he explains a bit of the reasoning why they choose to do this here in the city of Brampton. Take a listen.
Used to have individual fireworks at individual homes, and it created some fire hazards and challenges. We actually banned fireworks in the city but replaced it with a large city event to make up for that cancellation. And it's been a resounding success. You know, the turnout has been extraordinary. So excited to see it tonight, and we combine it with some of the most impressive musical talent as well. So we've got some great South Asian artists performing tonight. So it's going to be a party.
And certainly a party it is. We have Trudeau here. Let's see if we can ask him a quick question about Diwali. All right, so for the folks who are still trying to get down here today, public transportation is your best bet. Parking is limited, but there is also a shuttle service running every 30 minutes or so that will take you to the malls and nearby community centers. We're just walking along here as they try to prepare for the rest of the evening. Let's see if Justin Trudeau is ready to make a quick comment on Diwali. All right. All righty, we'll send it back to you for now. A very busy night down here, but 7:30, set your alarms. That will be the big fireworks show taking over the Brampton skies tonight.
Yeah, should be absolutely amazing show. Okay, that's CP24's Sija Liu reporting live. Thanks, Sija.
Right now it's 5:53. It's feeling like +4. We have to say that because it's so close to the freezing mark. You're watching live at 5.
The debate over daylight saving time is being renewed once again since clocks are going back 1 hour on Sunday. We will speak with a psychiatrist about some of the challenges people might face next. A free Diwali celebration is currently underway in Brampton.
So let's go live now to see the festivities with our own Sija Liu. Hi, Sija.
Hi there. Everyone wants to be in Brampton tonight, including the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. You can see folks here wanting to take a photo with him. This is all for the second annual City of Brampton's Diwali Mela celebration. 20,000 people attended this event last year. They're expecting that amount today. Lots of politicians have been on hand, including here Justin Trudeau. Premier Doug Ford will be here later as well. And this is all to celebrate diversity, Diwali, the festival of triumph of light over darkness. Now, earlier today, we spoke with Mayor Patrick Brown about the fireworks display that will be taking place today at 7:30 p.m. It will be a 15-minute long show, the longest fireworks show in Brampton, and he explains a bit of the reasoning why they choose to do this here in the city of Brampton. Take a listen.
Used to have individual fireworks at individual homes, and it created some fire hazards and challenges. So we actually banned fireworks in the city, but replaced it with a large city event to make up for that cancellation. And it's been a resounding success. You know, the turnout has been extraordinary. So excited to see it tonight, and we combine it with some of the most impressive musical talent as well. So we've got some great South Asian artists performing tonight. So it's going to be a party.
And certainly a party it is. We have Trudeau here. Let's see if we can ask him a quick question about Diwali. All right, so for the folks who are still trying to get down here today, public transportation is your best bet. Parking is limited, but there is also a shuttle service running every 30 minutes or so that will take you to the malls and nearby community centers. We're just walking along here as they try to prepare for the rest of the evening. Let's see if Justin Trudeau is ready to make a quick comment on Diwali. All right. All righty, we'll send it back to you for now. A very busy night down here, but 7:30, set your alarms. That will be the big fireworks show taking over the Brampton skies tonight.
Yeah, should be absolutely amazing show. Okay, that's CP24's Sija Liu reporting live. Thanks, Sija.
Right now it's 5:53. It's feeling like +4. We have to say that because it's so close to the freezing mark. You're watching Live at 5.
The debate over daylight saving time is being renewed once again since clocks are going back 1 hour on Sunday. We will speak with a psychiatrist about some of the challenges people might face next. A reminder now, don't forget to set your clocks back 1 hour before you go to bed tomorrow night. That's because daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. on Sunday.
And for more on how to adjust and cope and try to thrive potentially, let's bring in Dr. Michael Mack, psychiatrist at CAMH, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health. We appreciate you joining us, sir. The first thing I guess I wanted to ask is when we talk about seasonal affective disorder, and we also, I think I've noticed going outside once it gets dark before 5, that makes a big difference in my life. So are these things, are they really intertwined here?
Absolutely. Like as we inch towards the day with the shortest sunlight in the morning, the winter solstice, that lack of morning exposure to sunlight is actually bad for our mood. It causes depression, higher, lower mood, destabilize internal body clock, leading to poorer sleep. So waking up in the morning to sunlight is healthy for us. And that's what going back to standard time does. It allows us to expose ourselves to more morning light.
Let's talk a little bit more about seasonal affective disorder, because I think always throughout the winter you're eating less fresh fruits and vegetables, maybe not exercising as much, getting less light no matter what. But what are the actual symptoms of SAD?
Yeah, like for some folks, due to the decrease in light exposure, particularly as we enter the winter months, you might find a decreased ability to enjoy the things you like usually, lower levels of energy, poor concentration, having changes to your appetite. You might be eating more than usual. And in the worst cases, you might start to lose a meaning in your life. So if that happens to you, please seek professional help.
And obviously, that's an important thing to remind people. Doctor, I'm thinking a little bit as well about, you talked about morning light, how important that is. We have a debate over daylight saving time. I'm one of those people that would want to have it where we continue to have daylight at 9 p.m. in the summer. So I would take less light in the morning. But that makes me feel better. But in terms of like profiles of people, is it really the morning light that helps get people, let's say, energized?
Yeah, it's much better to have the morning exposure to light than having the light exposure at bedtime. The more light at bedtime makes it harder for you to sleep at night. We know, scientifically speaking, having more light exposure first thing upon awakening when you wake up leads to better mood and better physical health. And in fact, not having enough light exposure when you wake up is associated with depression, obesity, and certain types of cancer.
Okay, Dr. Michael Mack, psychiatrist with CAMH. Really appreciate you taking the time today. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Let's turn. Didn't Halloween just happen? We're already talking about Christmas trees. Okay, the Distillery District is getting ready for the holiday season immediately.
Yeah, that's right. A 55-foot silver fir Christmas tree is now in place already in the distillery. Over the next 2 weeks, it will be decorated, and then on November 13th, it will be lit up to officially open the Distillery Winter Village. Okay, November 13th. I'm okay with that.
That sounds better. That's after Remembrance Day. That's a good start.
Yes, exactly.
Well, the distillery is expecting about 1 million visitors over the holiday season. The Winter Village is open every day except Christmas Day and January 5th. By the way, just double check which times are free and which times you have to pay. That's a good thing to do before you go out.
Yeah, a good reminder. It's 5:59 now, 9 degrees. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
And thank you, as always, for watching us. CTV News at 6 is next. Thank you.